Hello and welcome back to the Thoughts from the Bench podcast. I'm your host, Lucas Jett, and joined by my co-host, Kyle Mack, Austin Guthrie, and Ben Marks. How you doing, fellas?
Pretty good.
Doing great.
I'm
good. This is Ben's first appearance back on the podcast since our hiatus for like 8 months. So welcome back. And we're just going to jump right in here on the biggest topic in sports right now, the Donald Sterling issue. And he made some racist comments to his mistress or girlfriend or somebody. And Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, I'm going. I got you. Fined him $2.5 million and banned him for life, and are making him sell the Clippers. So I'll start with you, Kyle. Are you interested in buying the Clippers from Mr. Sterling?
Am I? No, but I heard that Oprah might be. Down low.
That'd be
interesting just to stick it to him because I have an African American owner. It'd be kind of funny.
That would be. Austin, any interest?
Definitely not. Not a huge Clippers fan. Think that Oprah would be interesting, or also I heard something about Magic. So,
Ben, you and I have already discussed we are completely interested in going to buy the Clippers. So.
Yeah, we're still working on the money aspect of it, but yeah, we've decided that we're going to move the team to Gardner, Illinois, if we indeed do buy it. Become the Gardner Clippers.
Speaking of moving the team, I've heard rumors out there, and I thought this would be a really cool idea. It's very, very iffy, obviously, but what if they had somehow, whoever the new owner had moved the team back to back to Seattle?
That'd be interesting.
Seattle's
good
they're
market.
itching. I know that fan base up there is itching for an NBA team. Obviously, they have a baseball team and a football team, but it's a big city and it's a big market up there sports-wise. I think they do need an NBA team, and there's 6 NBA teams or 5 NBA teams at least in California.
Mm-hmm.
You got Sacramento, 2 LA,
Golden State, 4 or 5 already in California. I mean, granted, it's a huge state, yeah, but I think LA could spare a team, and I think could find a new fan base up there in Seattle. Would be cool, but far-fetched idea, but very cool idea too. I've also heard that Kansas City might be interested.
I heard
as well.
that too. I heard Kansas City was interested in as well.
But let's go back to the Sterling comments. How was your assessment of Silver's Sterling's consequences that Silver handed down? What was your big?
Obviously, it's what needed to be done. I mean, you had to take the actions, but at the same time, it draws a really slippery slope because when he said these things, he said them. He wasn't talking to the media. He wasn't talking to anybody. He was, saying his own personal thoughts, which are, granted, they're terrible thoughts. They're terrible, terrible racist thoughts, but they're his own thoughts.
Yeah. And,
he was being recorded without his knowledge. It draws a very slippery slope between that line of espionage and, public knowledge and the rights of that. So, yeah, did he say something stupid and should have happened? Yes, but at the same time, it's not like he was coming out and saying it. I mean, his actions, obviously there was the whole, I believe people were saying, equating it to running a slave factory or a plantation he was running with his slumlord kind of things, not allowing blacks and Latinos, basically evicting them for no reason other than just being a racist asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But all those charges were dropped or settled, so the NBA really couldn't do anything. But like I said, it draws a really slippery slope between having a private life and having a personal life. But if you're a person of this magnitude, you should be aware of that, so that someone's always listening. You should be aware of that. And if you're going to be a racist, don't be a dumb racist at least. I mean, those are kind of synonyms, I guess. A dumb person is a racist is a dumb person, so I guess they go hand in hand.
Yep. Ben, any thoughts on that?
Well, I agree that you're not supposed to. If you are a racist, keep it to yourself. But it's not like he was speaking on behalf of the Clippers. He's speaking on behalf of himself. Not that I agree that racism is good, but I don't think he should be forced to sell his own company. CEO of a Fortune 500 company, they get in private. They say, they're racist. Should they be fired? No, they weren't talking to anyone. So they're just talking amongst themselves. So, I mean, it's a slippery slope, like K-Max said.
Yep. Austin?
I don't know. I'm torn. I agree that he wasn't speaking on the behalf of the Clippers, and I mean, to be honest, like it almost, like I almost wonder if he knew that he was being recorded. He didn't say like what I listened. I don't know how many of you guys actually listened to the full like TMZ.
It was like
recording.
hours upon hours.
Yeah, let's do a clip of it.
Yeah.
He didn't like. I was just shocked because like I never once like I don't know. I listened to like the 11-minute version and I was like, it's TMZ. I mean, they're not very reliable. I wouldn't even consider them a source.
They're going to edit that 3 hours of the tape down to 11 minutes and put their own spin on it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like if he wasn't banned for life, then like there would be this everyone would continue to like riot and
yeah, with the reaction that it came from it, the commissioner was given no option.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he was going to stay there, you would eventually have draft picks refusing to sign. It would not have any off-season. Their team would fall apart. Basically, you would take that team and just throw all they built and just throw it right in the trash.
Yeah.
Future-wise, it would be terrible for them. I mean, like I said, draft picks would refuse to sign there. Obviously, anybody that even had any kind of inclination of going there would just turn their noses up at it, just because if they went there, other people would think less of them.
And Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, was this is his first kind of big deal in the NBA as the new commissioner. I think he did an excellent job with the level he hammered down on Sterling. I think he did well.
And the timeliness.
Yeah,
it was really quick.
He did it in only 2 days, which was nice because especially during the playoffs, this was like awful timing for everything. And I just thought it was a great job by Silver and the NBA to work quickly and get all the suspensions and everything and, bans done. What was your take on the Clippers protest?
Oh, I was just going to say that. Completely, I think that was one of the stupidest things. Like, and then the Heat adding on to it. I just, like, what are you going to do? Like, let's throw our...
Alright, go ahead.
Just like I just didn't understand the whole like throw the uniforms in the center of the court. Like how exactly is that sticking it to them? Like
I thought it was. I liked the protest personally. As I was watching it, I thought it was a good way to protest the owner without saying anything to the owner. It was a nice silent protest. I mean, Michigan and the Fab Five did it with the plain white shirts protesting. I thought it was a good idea. Now, when the Heat did it, that was strictly for attention. The Miami Heat trashed their own logo. I don't understand it. They trashed their own logo by throwing down their jerseys. It doesn't make any sense. Ben, what did you think of the protest? Ben, what did you think of the protest? We're having some technical difficulties with Ben here.
Repeat the question, please.
What did you think of the protest by the Clippers, Clippers players, and the subsequent?
It wasn't really much of a protest from so what, you go out to the middle and throw your warm-ups on the floor. It's really not much of a protest. I mean, I did not like that the Heat protested all the way over in Miami. What's the point of doing that? But I didn't think it was much of a protest.
K-Mac?
I have to agree with that. I mean, it was a little more of a statement than a protest, really. If they wanted to protest, they would have not played. And it hadn't been during the regular season, I think that might have been a legitimate option. Mm-hmm. But in a playoff series, clearly they're not going to just give a game away. If they already locked up a seed, it was late season, I feel like they might have just conceded a game. That might have been a more effective actual protest. But throwing jerseys down, I don't really have a problem with it. Didn't hurt nobody. Didn't really do much. Just a statement.
Yeah.
The way that the Clippers played, it almost looked like they just gave away the game.
There might be something to that too.
Yep.
Like, screw you. We're not gonna give two shits about this game.
All right, we're gonna switch it up and talk about our own NBA team, or our lack of an effort team. I mean, yes, the Tiger, but the Bulls lost last night. Only scored 69 points and got beat in 5 games by the Wizards, and now they're out of the playoffs. And already, last night, the hashtag Mellow to Chicago was trending in Chicago. It's already began.
I wish.
It's going to be an interesting offseason. It's going to be fun. Gar Forman, the Bulls front office guy, said it will obviously be an active summer for us. What is your take on that?
I mean, I like the fact that he said that. We can just keep, I guess right now all we can do is just, hope and dream that we get Melo. But I mean, the last time I feel like we were in this position, we were talking about LeBron, and we know how that went. So, there's a little bit of, I guess, pessimism built up in the fact that we obviously didn't get LeBron, and I believe also maybe the same thing happened with Dwayne Wade, or there was another player. So I mean, obviously, we want him on the Bulls. He's an amazing player, but I'm remaining to keep my hopes high. So,
Ben, what is your take on the Bulls off-season plans?
I mean, hopefully they can get Carmelo, but Chicago is not really that, isn't very good for an attractive place for players to want to come when they can go to, New York or LA. Chicago, I mean, it's like 9 months out of the year. It's cold and windy.
It's
and
true.
then you have those 3/4 months, but where you can go to, LA, where it's gorgeous, 11 months out of the year. But I hope they can get Carmelo or a big-time free agent, because it's what they need. I just read a statistic that said that the Bulls were scoreless in the final 2 minutes of the game yesterday. I mean, you can't have those droughts and expect to be a finals consideration.
Yes, this is true, and also I believe that the rebounding was a big factor, and that was attributed to, now, can we say it, the ex-Bull, Carlos Boozer, who gave up 3 offensive rebounds at the very end, and possibly cost the Bulls a chance to tie it at the end. Any comment on your boy, Ben?
I was not personally watching the game. I had other commitments, but so I can't really speak for him. I mean, odds are Bulls are going to go in different directions, but I hope they bring him back.
It's true. You see any way Boozer's coming back, Austin?
I think he's going to be, if he's not traded, then it's going to be amnesty. So,
any way he comes back, Kyle? You think?
I'd give it about a 20% chance. I think it's time for them to go in a new direction with the team. Is Derrick Rose alive anymore? I mean, I've seen memes out there that says, Donald Sterling was back before Derrick Rose. And it seems like it. It really does. I can't remember the last time he played a game, and I haven't seen him on a basketball court in a uniform. It seems like years. Probably is years, plural now. It's depressing. You forget he exists, and if he's healthy, and they make a move for somebody like Melo, they could be dangerous, which is good. But at the same time, they're gonna have to clear cap space, clear salary, and people like Boozer might just have to might have to deal, and might see some completely fresh new faces. I mean, I'm not sure where they are gonna be in the draft. Actually, I think they have a good pick here.
They got 2. They got I think 16 and 19. I think.
yeah.
16 and 19, so they could have a solid draft. So they might draft. Obviously they have Joakim. their perennial best player as of right now. So they are pretty set in the center. They might draft someone to kind of complement who they think they're going to pick up in the offseason. So I could see next year being a kind of up year for them with Derrick Rose, barring another, disbelievable injury that might just put me in a state of depression where I just eat ice cream and cry to myself every night because you need you, Derek. We need you, and it's time.
Yep. And a kind of bad news note: the Bulls can't restructure Rose's contract to try to free up more cap space. So Rose is kind of locked into that $22 million that he's gonna make next year.
If he plays, it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sat out.
Who else is out of contract as of this year? I know that Augustine
And Kirk. Yep. Nazi's gone. Well, Perretta, his contract's up.
Oh, I do like Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah, he said he's always gonna feel like a Bull, but I don't see him coming back if the Bulls are gonna try to get DJ Augustine back. I'd rather have DJ with Kirk, but I'm glad Kirk finished out this run with the Bulls.
Good fundamentals. You don't need to dunk the ball on a layup. Just lay it in. Good fundamentals.
If the Bulls get Melo,
Yes.
do you consider us having a big three then? With Noah, Rose coming back, and Melo.
I don't consider Rose a superstar at all. Maybe not even a star.
I think
He's
Ben, what do you think?
I mean, Rose is tough to consider, elite anymore. Granted, we haven't seen him play in 2 years, but coming off of 2 major knee surgeries, it's hard to, come back from that and be explosive as you were before those injuries. And I'm reading this article, and it says, some possible free agents who the Bulls might try and sign. And it has a list of Luol Deng, Augustal, Vince Carter, Evan Turner, Rodney Stuckey, Lance Stevenson, Boris Diaw, and Trevor Ariza, along with, Carmelo Anthony. And another option is them possibly trading for Kevin Love. But in that trade, the Bulls probably have to,
Dear God.
either trade or amnesty Booster, and probably have to, trade away Mike Dunleavy along with their 2 draft picks in order to get him.
Yeah.
So,
That'd be worth
in
it.
the best case scenario, they sign Carmelo and they decide to draft, maybe Stauskas with the 16 pick.
That'd be nice.
And, build that around them. But that's where I'd like to see the franchise go.
Hopefully bring over Miricic from Spain along with Melo. Hopefully Melo takes a pay cut. But yeah, Kevin Love's interesting. Kevin Love is a free agent after next season, I believe. So we would have to re-sign him. Which unless you're going to go for it all, put all your chips in on next year, but I don't see the Bulls front office doing that. So that's just about it for our Bulls talk. We're going to go around the room now and have our final thoughts. Kyle, any final thought?
General sports or just on the topics?
Anything.
General sports. Been reading a lot about the Bears this week. Lots of great things coming up for camp. So excited for this year's camp. Can't wait to be there and working again. And this could be the year. I don't want to jump on no bandwagon yet and say Super Bowl or bust or anything, but I'm thinking this is the year where the Packers are kind of down unless they have a great draft. That's what they picked up Julius Peppers, obviously, but he's no Jared Allen in my book. He's been kind of sliding. I hate to see him go. He's a great person, great player, but I'd rather have Jared Allen. And I think this might be the year that the Bears actually beat the Packers twice. And I have been waiting for that for a long time because it seems like every time they play the Packers, you can just mark it down for a loss pretty much.
That'd be nice. Ben, any final thought?
Yes, I do have one thing I'd like to point out. The possibility of LeBron opting out after this season. I believe that if the Heat do not win the championship, LeBron will opt out of his contract. He probably will look at his options, and most likely he'll stay in Miami. But if he does opt out, I think it'd be in the Bulls' interest to take a run at him like they did in summer of 2010.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know how I'd feel about the Bulls getting LeBron, but I can't argue with getting the best player in the NBA.
I'd go buy some tickets.
Yeah. Austin, final thought?
We got 3 NHL games on tonight, 3 NHL Game 7s. Most notably is the Wild Avalanche game, which starts in a couple of minutes here as we're recording this. The Bulls play the winner.
The Hawks
And
play the winner. You said the
the
Bulls. Yeah.
The Hawks play the winner. And I think that the home field advantage is really going to help. So I'm going to tell you that I'm rooting for the Wild right now. So let's go to Wild and have a good offseason, Roy.
I hope that'd be nice. I got a few things not sports related. Today's the 10-year anniversary of Mean Girls as we're watching it right now.
Great movie already.
It is a fantastic movie, and kind of big news. I'm gonna break it on the podcast here, but I sent in an email today to iTunes, and this podcast in 1 to 2 days we'll find out if it is eligible to join iTunes as a podcast. So I'll let you know on Twitter, and it'll be on Facebook. So if that happens, you can just download the podcast app, which is free from iTunes, and it'll come free of charge every week that we do it. And you can just download it and listen to it there. You can listen to it at any time. You don't have to go on YouTube and watch it, but we'll still post it on YouTube just to get some YouTube views on there. And another thing, we probably won't record next week, seeing as finals are next week. Yeah. Probably shouldn't record on finals.
I'll be done next Wednesday.
I have a final Thursday morning, so yeah, probably won't record.
This time next week, I'll be pretty drunk.
So we probably won't record next week, but we will be back the following week. Not sure if Ben will be back on. That'll be the 14th. Ben, you got a final that day, probably?
14th, I have a final at 1:30, but I will be back in Gardner by probably 7:30, ready to record.
Excellent. So Ben's going to be back on for the podcast next week. Or not next week, but in 2 weeks. So we will keep you updated on the topics we will be covering. Kind of a short podcast today, but we like to keep it short. Don't want to ruin everybody's day with an hour podcast. So we will be back in 2 weeks. And for Kyle, Austin, Ben, I'm Luke. That is totally fetch.